in it. If you are in this country and you participate in free enterprise, you have access to over 100 tax write-offs. And you have the ability to create wealth. People in this country that chooses not to participate in free enterprise and they choose to be employed by a free enterpriser, you get maybe a maximum of 6 tax write-offs. And you know what else it says? And you don't have the ability to create wealth. Doesn't matter how good you are at it, it just doesn't work anymore. There's 2 things that's been taken away from us in the last 2 years. Social Security. Social Security now has been taken away from us, especially us baby boomers, and that's even changing as we go along. And the older you get, the more you won't get that. It doesn't seem like a lot, but you know what? When you're 65, 75 years of age, an extra $1,000 a month is a lot of money when you don't have any income. Well, now that's gone. That's gone. It's not a game. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. It's gone. And you still pay it. The second biggest thing that was told us this year is health insurance. All the major corporations have failed because of overhead and marketing. Marketing people aren't listening to because of an iPod and because of TiVo and XM radio. They don't listen to it anymore. So marketing is killing America corporate businesses. And the overhead is absolutely wiping them out. They can't afford to stay in business. Thousands and thousands, no exaggeration, as much as the Great Depression over 50, 60 years ago. And we're walking right into it. It's one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my whole life. But I'm excited because I'm in this business. It's not controlled by the economy. When times are tough and people don't go to your office or go to your service, gosh, when times are tough, you don't even get your teeth cleaned. But it's amazing how you'll keep your kids clean. It's amazing how you buy food, not from McDonald's, but from yourself, especially when you get paid for it. You have no idea how big this is going to be in the next 3 and 4 and 5 years. I think we will break more diamonds in this business in the next 5 to 7 years than we have in the history of this business because of what's going on. Everything is so positive, it's unbelievable. But if you don't believe in it, if you don't get it, it won't happen. If you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, it ain't going to work. You can drown just as easy as 90% across the lake as you can 10% across the lake. You want to get across the lake, you got to swim all the way. Hey, how you doing? Good. Are you still in that business? Well, yeah, we are. That means no. Are you fired up? Yeah, yeah, we are. That means no. Either you're in or you're not. If you treated your job like most of you treat this business, you'd be fired. You start treating this half as serious as you treat your job, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, you will be retired in a year and a half. And you will never work again for the rest of your life. But it's amazing how we poke at it, and we play games with it, and we're affected by what everybody else thinks. Bradley David Duncan got in this business in 1981. I was 22 years of age. I was smoking pot, getting drunk 2 to 3 nights a week. I was going nowhere real fast. My brother was in medical school, 9 years of college, 5 years of specialization. My mom and dad were so proud of Greg, it was unbelievable. They were just hoping I'd be a Weebelo. That's a Cub Scout. And my brother gave me a call. I was drinking beer up at the ski hill. I was a big snow skier. I was really doing things that were real beneficial to my future. And I was drinking beer out of a cowboy boot with holes in the side where you pull your boots on. And as I drank it, the beer was going out the 2 holes. Desenex, socks. Think about that. Just think about it for a minute. Kind of tells you where I was at, doesn't it? You know, but I was a good kid. I was just confused. I was frustrated. I didn't do well in school. So I thought I was a loser. Didn't know how to read very well. And my brother called me up. And he said, why don't you come over to Seattle? I was brought up in Montana. All I knew is it was a 2-lane highway and the mirrors clicked when you went by cars. I didn't even know there was 4 lanes going the same direction. I didn't even know that existed. And my brother said, why don't you come out to Seattle? He was in medical school in Seattle, Washington. He convinced me as I was drinking the beer out of my boot. Hey, your brother's on the phone. Sounds just a minute. I'll be right there. Got on the phone. My brother convinced me that I needed to go to Seattle, Washington. I moved to Seattle, Washington. Never been in a big city in my whole life. And I got there and I walked into this little junky apartment. My brother was $100,000 plus in debt from medical school. Lori was working as a dental hygienist just to try to keep up with some of the bills. They're going 100 miles an hour, their hair pulled out, they're frustrated. Greg wrote a Schwinn varsity 10-speed. Kind of ages us, doesn't it? yellow, to school every day with a backpack, and they had one junky car, little two-tone rust and white Toyota Corolla, and that's all they had. They lived in this dinky little teeny apartment. And I can remember pulling up there, walking downstairs in this little dinky apartment. My brother had a full beard down to here. He thought he was Dexter Yeager. I sat here and had a beard too. I had a full beard here. Had a Copenhagen chew in my mouth all the time. And I walked down in that little apartment. My brother said, I'm going to blow your mind. And we stayed up for 5 hours till 3, 4 in the morning. And we had yellow legal pads all over his little teeny apartment and a calculator because my brother just saw this plan from a guy named Dave Severn. And he says, Brad, we're going to be multimillionaires. And I said, what about medicine? Well, he was 9 years of college and 5 years of specialization in plastic surgery. My brother was in this business for 6 months and retired from medicine, quit medicine. My brother was a brand new emerald within a year and a half, and he was a diamond within 3 years. My brother retired from medicine so fast it was unbelievable. Brad Duncan poked along, but at least I built it. I was 6 months into this business and I was a single, and I was living in a junky apartment with my cousin who had shown the plan to my brother. And we were sitting in this dinky little apartment. We had no furniture. I sold my snow skis. I sold my stereo. I sold my bike. I sold my waterbed. That kind of ages me. I sold my bongs. I sold everything. And I was sleeping on the floor for 7 months trying to build this business, crying myself to sleep every night going, am I really going to be able to build this? Because it was all about me, building a self-image. The business is a piece of cake. It always has been. The whole point is you. Do you even believe in yourself? Do you even have a desire to move ahead, or are you caught up in this corporate crap that's going on in this country? Are you worried about what everybody else thinks still, and how old are you? Your barbecue friends, your beer drinking friends, your dart throwing friends, your Nintendo friends, your pool playing friends. How do you know all this, Brad? Because that was me. I'm drawing a picture of Brad Duncan. I'm really not pointing the finger at you. You're all perfect. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of being broke. I was sick and tired of lying to me. I was sick and tired of lying to my friends. And I was scared. Where am I going in life? My brother kept believing in me and telling me I was a winner. The key and the point is I was plugged into my upline who believed in me. I called him all the time. When's the last time you called your upline? How often do you talk to your upline? You can't build it if you don't communicate. The reason we have a wonderful marriage is because we talk all the time. I'm not kidding you. I'm long distance. We're talking all the time. We communicate all the time. I don't care if we're in the same town and Julie's doing some errands or picking up the kids. We call each other 10 times a day at least. It's awesome. Well, that's why we have a good marriage, communication. Well, an upline's a marriage. It's a relationship. And the reason a lot of us never make it is because you like it and you believe in it, but you don't have a relationship. And you can't build it by yourself. You're not that good. None of you are that good. You have to plug in. You have to have a relationship. Men have the worst problem with that. We have the biggest stinking egos in the world. We are so stubborn. And until you humble yourself, you won't be wealthy. I don't believe the Lord will bless your life and allow you to be successful unless you humble yourself. I think one of the great things Julie and I have done is we're willing to submit ourselves to my brother Greg and Lori and to Dave and Jan Severn and Ron and George Lee Perrier, 3 unbelievable couples that had what we wanted. Number one, they had the marriage we wanted. They had the relationship with the Lord that we wanted. They had a financial situation that was unbelievable, and we didn't have any of that. They had older kids that were turning out to what we dreamt our kids to turn out to. I hadn't raised kids yet, and I believed in association. You're a product of your environment. Whatever you hang around is who you are today. If you're not building a business, I think you hang around a lot of people that don't build the business. If you're procrastinating, I think you have a lot of friends that procrastinate. If you smoke in here, I think you hang around smokers. If you want to learn how to do something, you listen to somebody that's done it. I believe that my whole life. I pray to God you teach your kids that. That's what this is really all about, because the mechanics of the business are a piece of cake. I said we didn't have any furniture in our little apartment. We stood up and ate top ramen all the time. My mom would come to town and she'd say, you get 1 cart. She'd come to town like once every 6 weeks, and I'd be able to go to the grocery store and fill 1 cart up. God, it was like an angel came to town. I was making $7.40 an hour. I still don't know how I even made it. But I was building a business. The only first piece of furniture I bought was a shelf out of the catalog so I could stack my products on it in my little teeny apartment. Still sleeping on the floor. My clothes, my underwear, my jeans, my shirts were stacked all against the wall on the floor. Never had anybody come to our house because we didn't want them to know where we lived and how we lived. But I showed the plan 5 nights a week. I got a ton of no's. And they beat my self-image up because I already had a low self-image. But the only reason I made it through is because I communicated with my upline. God, I got another no. And Greg said, good, it'll build your character. You're not going to be worth tens of millions of dollars, Brad, and not go through the boot camp. Quit thinking everything's going to be handed to you. Quit being a wimp. I had a brother that was my coach. Problem is, most of you don't have a coach in here, and that's why you're not growing. Because you keep thinking you're going to build on your own. How long have you been involved? How many plans have you shown? This doesn't work. I don't care how great it is. It doesn't work if you don't expose this to other people. It doesn't work. It's like, it's amazing how some of us will let 10 and 20 years go by and you'll never go out and do what you need to do because you're scared someone's going to bite you or something. You know, in 27 years in this business, build it, I've never had anybody yell at me. I've never had anybody bite me, slap me, hit me. The worst thing that ever happened is somebody went, no! Oh my God! And you're going to kiss off $100 million, $50 million of income because somebody says no to you? You know, I love my pals. I really love my friends. I'm a good friend to have. I got a lot of friends. I'm a people guy. God, the guy who cuts my grass doesn't even speak English. I love that guy. God, he comes, oh no, I go, you know, I mean, we love each other. But I got to tell you something. My friends don't pay my bills. And I don't have one stinking buddy that I used to get drunk with in college, or one of my church pals today, or anybody else in my life that I love more than that woman. And when I started listening to people that had what I wanted, instead of worrying about all my brother and sister-in-laws, my aunts and uncles, and all my relatives that are all broke, blaming the government for everything, blaming the president for everything, blaming their boss for everything, and they never look in the mirror and say, hey, good morning, stupid. They never have the guts to admit the truth. God, you only live once. You live once. My goodness, God doesn't make junk. Well, I'm just not that kind of person. That is the biggest bunch of crock in the world. You can become anything you want to become. If you've been a wimp your whole life, then let's stop it and change that. You can do it whenever you want. God, you live once. Well, I've never been very good with people. Well, I wouldn't be very good with people either if I talked like you. You can change anytime you want. You want to be big? You got to have the attitude. Brad Duncan, how did you go diamond? I talked about it all the time. How do you have such a good marriage? I dream about her all the time. I talked about her all the time. Everywhere I go, I talk about her. I talked my love into her. I talked our success into her. I made it happen because I talked about it and I believed it. The power of the tongue. Hung by the tongue. Hey, want to go diamond? And you think about it all the time. I'm going to be a diamond. I'm going to be free. I'm going to be financially independent, and I'm not letting any stinking relative and stinking friends steal my dream. I'm going to have a freedom lifestyle, and I'm going to earn my wife's respect and earn my friends' respect. I'm going to blow the nose minds. You know, everybody laughed at Brad. Hey, did you hear about Brad? Brad thinks he's going to be financially independent. And they laugh, and they laugh. They'd sit there and go, yeah, Duncan thinks he's going to be free. He's going to be free. And they laugh. And they laugh. Can we have 2 more beers? And they laugh. They don't laugh anymore. I'll tell you that. And if I would have done this one thing, if I would have listened to them, I'd be broke today, I wouldn't be married to her, and I'd be frustrated. And you know why 99% of you aren't building here? Because there's somebody you keep listening to. And you won't stand on principle and do what's right. You are a year and a half away from walking away from a job for the rest of your life, and you won't kick it in? You got a family over here that has spent their whole life building a dynasty that thank God you're part of. And there are millions of people outside that wall that are looking for an opportunity. They're praying for an opportunity. Even people that don't have Christ in their life, they're praying for it. And they don't know what they're going to do. And you do. It's laying in your lap. My God, this corporation gave us $74 million of new money. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe this or not, there's not one company in this country today, excuse me, let me repeat that. There's not one other company in the world right now that is giving an extra $74 million out of their own pocket because they had a good day. There's not one other one that's doing it. That's an extra $10 million to your pocketbook, extra money that you wouldn't have made as a diamond already, which was already an awesome lifestyle. It's an extra $10 million to you in the next 20 years. And a lot of us are going, well, we are excited, we are. We're getting going, but we're not really sure why we're not. Why? 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 You're going to make millions of dollars a year as a Crown Ambassador. You can all be Crown Ambassadors. Man, I'm nothing special, and I'm going to be one. You want to know why? Because I believe it.